Hi, I'm Rachel Dillon.
And I'm Marcus Dillon.
And this podcast is Who's Really the Boss, where we highlight the joys
and challenges
of running a business with your spouse or family.
Our mission is to strengthen families and businesses by helping listeners avoid the mistakes we have made so they can lead
and live happily ever after. Hey, welcome back to season 2 of Who's Really the Boss podcast.
Hey, thanks for leading. Thanks for having me back.
All right. So tell me one thing you're looking forward to this week.
This week, man, it's all downhill from here. We're recording this on a Wednesday.
The weekend, I feel like, is part of the week. I feel like Friday and Saturday are still part of this week. So is there anything that you're looking forward to?
Saturday morning, I'm going to try to get away and go to my little Carson Coffee with my group, my guys, and that'll be the first one of the year. That'll be fun. I thought we were going to be able to sneak away and go check on things at the lake house, and then we have to be back Sunday morning to be in the little turtles class at church. So that's probably not going to happen.
I love our little turtles. I miss the 3-year-olds at church that we, as a family, the 4 of us get to entertain. I won't say teach. We do our best, but there's a lot more entertaining going on than teaching.
Yeah. But what about you? What are you looking forward to?
Actually, going back to a previous recording where you were saying that we hadn't eaten out in quite a few days, we're actually taking my mom out to dinner at Taste of Texas. So for nice food, you can make great choices, but to Taste of Texas, which is a Houston-based steakhouse. So excited about that.
That'll be good. Yep. Taste of Texas. If you wanted to stay healthy, they've got a huge salad bar too, but it's pretty easy to plan and know what goes into an 8-ounce filet, a dry baked potato, and salad. Yeah. So
I think I'm going salad bar, add a chicken breast.
There you go. That chicken breast is full of essential oils. It's like full of all the fat. So, but cool. Yeah. Looking forward to that too. I think I'm invited, so it'll be good.
You are. You're definitely invited. So on to our topic of conversation today. So you want to sell your business. This seems to be a common theme coming up. People receiving offers for their business, or people who are just done for whatever reason that might be. Some of them, it is an opportunity that has presented itself, has been evaluated closely, and it turns out to be a good deal. And others, just their heart's not in it anymore, or their heart is moving already in a different direction. So wanted to really talk through, if someone is wanting to sell their business, what that might look like, reasons people at this time might be wanting to sell.
Yeah. So the general kind of where we're at today in the beginning of 2023, COVID was not too long ago. And so there were emotions that were had in COVID. If you led a business, owned a business, that many people, if they were close to the end of wanting to own a business, got exhausted. Like they don't want to live through that any longer. Just that uncertainty for what may be coming next. Like you've got a down economy in certain parts of the world, in certain industries. 2023 may not be fun to navigate. So they're trying to look at it from a timing perspective. The other piece is we're coming off of a very heavy M&A filled transaction kind of buying frenzy. And so that was kind of as a result of loans being easier to get and lower interest rate. And now we're into this high interest rate environment, or higher interest rate environment. So it's almost to the point where some people may feel out like they may be missing the opportunity to sell their business if they don't do it now. Some of the good deals aren't there any longer. And so that may be forcing people to evaluate things before the next cycle hits. And a lot of people, whenever you are faced with, hey, the reason to sell your business, it should be done, obviously, with a clear mind. And so it should be, based on the value of your business at this time. Is that a good return on your investment over all the years, the financial investment that you've made in that business? And then mentally, are you there? Like, are you at a point where you're okay transitioning to that next thing in life? And whether that is selling the business, merging it into another and working for that business, for that new business for a while, or selling it, walking away and just going and find the next new thing. So reasons people maybe wanting to sell, I mean, there's a variety of different things, but I think I covered a lot of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And so say somebody is ready to sell their business. They meet those requirements that you mentioned, and they do not have these magical offers that keep showing up to certain businesses or certain industries. So they don't have an offer that's sitting and waiting out there. Who are potential buyers for small businesses?
Yeah, potential buyers are all around. And so it may be people that work in the business. It may be your peers or your competitors, depending on how you view your competition in the market. It may be a vendor relationship. It may be a customer relationship. So there are a variety of different ways to seek out who may be a potential buyer. Once you have identified that potential buyer or started having conversations with what it would look like, you have to vet that person very, very well. And so most small businesses want an internal person to take over the business, someone they've groomed in the business. Usually the disconnect is that person doesn't have the cash or the capital to do so, even though they would be the most the best identified person and the most equipped because they've been groomed by that business owner. So there are different things. There are different ways to achieve that person leading the business. And that's where you may have like an equity partner, whether that's an individual, a family office, a group kind of coming through, exiting the current owner, and then elevating that internal person to kind of lead the business. So a variety of different things. You did mention at the beginning of that question, maybe they haven't identified the buyer, and maybe it's just that the buyer hasn't presented themselves yet. And so in that season of waiting, or in that season of, not having the buyer identified, the best thing that a business owner can do is run a good business, like make good business decisions, achieve good profits, make great decisions, make good hiring decisions, make firing decisions when necessary, improve margins. So the best businesses in the market are ones that are run well. So if you've got a situation where you don't have a buyer and you get discouraged, the best thing you can do for that future buyer is run your business really, really well.
What are 3 things to make a business more valuable to someone outside looking to purchase?
So the first thing is process. And I know it's, there's probably like 3 P's we could think about, like process, people, and profit or something. I don't know. Just threw that out there. But so process, is something repeatable? Are there systems in place that aren't reliant on any one person or any one, I guess, bottleneck, just anything? Like, can it scale? Can the owner remove themselves from the day to day? And so that's a lot of times what we spend time with clients on, like, how do you work yourself out of production? How do you remove yourself and elevate others so that maybe you as an owner can participate in the business, but it truly is with an owner hat and not a production hat. And so that is a much more valuable business to a buyer than somebody that has to buy the business and then step in the very next day and start work. That's where you've almost bought yourself a job. And so, like, it just depends on the situation, but businesses that run without an owner are always going to be sold for more. The second one in that 3 Ps is people. And so people always hiring and having capacity based on really good people that will live beyond you as the owner. Sometimes people don't make the best decisions with their personnel, and maybe that's a hiring or a moving on from a certain team member that may be toxic or has just sat too long in any one given seat. And so just like you as an owner, what would a new buyer want? They would want the best team possible. And so they're going to pay a premium in today's market for that team because it's so hard to find people and it's so hard to get the right people on the bus. So if you have the right team installed and they're doing a great job running that business alongside the current owner, it's going to make the value of that business that much stronger. And then the third thing was profit. So profit, it is the lifeblood of the business, profit and cash flow, which you can't have cash flow without profit. So those are the few things that are looked at in the valuation of a business. Obviously, cash flow to owner is based on profit and margin. And are you asking the right things for your product or your service? Are you dialed in as far as like your budgets and expenses? Are you being a good steward of the business that you're running? And I think all of those kind of, you put me on the spot there, but I think I hit all three pretty good.
I think you did a great job.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Yeah. You did an awesome job. Answered that so well.
I'm sure that'll become a blog post or a 3 things
No,
video,
it'll become a 3 things video. That's why I kind of threw it out there. So remember I said that I was having trouble getting my ideas going for content and getting it pushed out. So
we could call it the PPP, but so many accountants would stab us in the eye if we bring up PPP again.
It's been taken. It's been done. It's been taken.
I could really go for another round of PPP loans though. That would feel really good right now.
Now that you have a process, know what's going on, right? It would be
for me and clients, awesome. open up the treasury. Let's go back. So fun stuff.
So once a business is ready and attractive and is valuable to an outside buyer, they have received an offer. What are things that need to be evaluated and analyzed? Whose eyes need to be on the offer? What are all the considerations of an offer that's received?
Yeah, so even we're jumping way ahead and somebody wants to sell their business, but hopefully along the way, they have kind of assembled this team or curated this team of advisors to help lead them and help them make decisions on behalf of their business. So those advisors are also people you would want to float the idea of, am I ready to sell my business? What does the market look like? And just kind of get a different perspective than maybe somebody that's like in the weeds, in the day-to-day of the business, just an overall feel. And once you've kind of identified a buyer, maybe know what it's worth, have settled on it's a good time, that's whenever you start evaluating an offer or an asking price if you're going out to market. So considerations of an offer, you would definitely, before you sign anything, even an LOI, a letter of intent, you want to make sure that your attorney reviews it. And the reason why is we see so many people kind of go throughout this process, sign an LOI, and then they get into like due diligence, and then they either get their attorney to review it or they have started a relationship with their attorney, and things that they agreed to in that LOI, the whole thing that the deal is built on, they don't understand. And they sign that LOI and it's like, oh, well, this is all being funded with debt. Well, I don't want to go into debt. Well, you said that you would because you signed this LOI. So it's kind of, it's one of those, by not having the right representation at the right stage, can kill a deal. And so that's key number one. So making sure that your advisors are looped in the whole time. And so sometimes there is a place in the market for like a business broker or an expert that shops your business to different things. Like in the dental space, we see that with like people shopping it to DSOs or DPOs, and they know the market. They know all the buyers and they know what the buyers' deals are going to look like because those are pretty standard. And they know what may be right given the relationship that they have with their client, our client or everybody's client in that situation. So it would really be, okay, consideration of the offer. Is this what you thought it was going to be? And does everything align with what you've been told? we see so many times people are sold something verbally, and then whenever the documents start coming in, they are written in a way that contradict what was said. And so it's a lot of times educating the client throughout that process, the business owner, and then making sure that even though the legalities have not changed, maybe something that was said is now clearer or better defined, and making sure that they're okay with that.
I feel like that a lot of times in conversation, there are a lot of omissions and just no real clarity around the actual legal terms of what that purchase means. And then you get into a 50 or 60 page legal document of like the purchase agreement or the LOI. And it's hard to interpret that on your own. Because you already have the information that you received in conversation clouding what you're reading, making you potentially interpret it a different way because you remember what you were told. But that's just not the way it's worded in the actual legal binding document.
Correct. Yeah. And the best way to increase the value of your business, like we said, running a smart business or making the best decisions in the business, is being surrounded by the right team. And you want to make sure that from a compliance standpoint, both legally, tax-wise, whatever, you're checking the boxes, because during due diligence, any sale is going to go through a due diligence phase. And if you haven't done something on the up and up or have cut a corner, it's going to be identified, and it may kill the deal or reduce your asking price to where it's not as good of a deal as you thought you were going to get. And so, having compliance be, staying above board and things like that, as far as from an accounting perspective, which is what we speak into a lot of times, and making sure that somebody knows their numbers, that they're actually working off of good data, and that they're presenting that in a way to the buyer that makes sense, or potential buyer or broker or whoever's listing the business for sale. So that's what we see a lot of times, where like our team actually goes in and improves the value of the business so much because things are clean and the buyer knows what they're getting and there's no surprises after the fact. So we love to see that. We love whenever we have prospects say, hey, well, part of my 3 to 5 year goal is to actually sell my business. That's great, because we can install our team and we can start going down the path of what do we need to do? What small changes do we need to make so we can get you a better value for your business whenever you're ready to exit it. So, and then the other thing is, whenever someone has said that that's their goal, what are the small tweaks that we can make, even in like expenses and P&L and cash flow? What are things along the way to make sure that we have a valuable business? And so if you need a sales team in your business, but you've kind of done that, you've worn that hat in your business for so long and you've never had a sales team, it's kind of going out and building that sales team, building leads that are repeatable after you step away. Some people make the mistake to kind of gut their business and run it so lean and pull all the profit out of it that truly that shell of a business isn't worth much when they go to sell it, because there's nothing that lives beyond the owner. And you'll see that a lot of times in different industries like construction. Construction businesses are only as good as the contracts that are remaining and the iron that is owned by the business. So there's really nothing that lives beyond the business unless they figured something out. Like they've got a unique situation where it's a pipeline of leads or a pipeline of subs and a certain way of doing things, a certain way of building whatever that is. But depending on the industry, you have to be really smart going into those. And with professional services, it's no different. Like you have to have people that you're leading and that they're following a set process that's going to allow the new business owner to continue successfully running the business when the owner steps away.
Yeah, absolutely. I think those are great tips for anyone. I know our priority as far as our team serving clients is to make sure that we are helping build the most valuable businesses possible, no matter what stage they come to us, whether it's a startup or a seasoned business. We want to make sure that it's the most valuable at all times. So if there ever is an opportunity or an offer that comes through, a change a health event or a change in lifestyle that needs to accommodate the sell of the business, that business is at its peak value at all times. And so I know that's really, our success is really based on the success of our clients. That's how we kind of measure our success within DBA. So
yeah, our biggest hope is that your business is worth more today than it was yesterday. It's going to be worth more tomorrow than it was today. And all of that is, if you don't have a team of people around you trying to make you and your business better and strive towards that, then you need to find a new team, or you need to find a team. And, that's kind of our place in the market. So, but yeah, really good conversation. I could talk about this for hours and hours. I'm sure you kind of get that. So
I think a huge takeaway from this, if you're considering selling your business, maybe you're in an emotional state where you think selling your business would make your life better or would just be the answer. Don't do it alone. Invite somebody into that conversation with you that has maybe an unbiased opinion, or even better, somebody like a legal or financial expert that can help guide you down that road. Usually emotions are temporary, so don't make a long-term decision based on a temporary emotion.
Yeah, and I think when selling a business, haste is not usually good. So I think time is always valuable. And even if you need more time to think about it and part of the purchase price goes down, just as, the way things happen, or loan rates change and it's not as attractive of an offer, it's harder to unwind a business sale than I forget how we say it, but it's easier to say no to a bad deal or no to a good deal than say yes to a bad deal. And you don't want regret, whether it's buyer's or seller's remorse, or in any instance, you can't go back and your business will never be the same if you try to go in and take it back.
Absolutely. Well, this has been a great conversation. Thanks for sharing your wisdom on this topic. Appreciate it.
I don't know that it's wisdom. I'm just talking. All right. Well, we'll share some more opinions here in a bit.
All right.
Thanks for hanging with us to the end of another episode. If you have thoughts, comments, or feedback you would like to share, please leave us a comment or review on your favorite podcast listening platform. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast so you don't miss any future episodes. Join us again next week for another great conversation.